Alright, in this video we're going to take a look, a high level look at a stored procedure. Alright, and what exactly is a stored procedure? Alright, a stored procedure is an executable database object that contains SQL statements. Should be an S there. Or can contain a statement. Most of the time it contains statements. Alright, so what do we have here? An object, right? Sure, it's an object. Everything inside SQL Server, the logical container, is an object. Alright, so we use the create procedure, or we can also use create proc to define the stored procedure. Alright, here's how we declare our variables, right? Variable declaration. Here we tell we've got a varchar, the data type, and the length of that data type, right? So what's the big deal about stored procedures, other than they're very flexible? They're recompiled, right? So what's that mean? It just means that on first execution, right, it's compiled, right? The very first time a stored procedure runs, it's compiled. After that, it's saved in compile form. Alright? Now we're not going to talk about where it's saved, and we're not going to talk about the architecture and the relational engine, and we're not going to delve into that. What we're doing is a very high level of the syntax and main use of a stored procedure. And the main use of a stored procedure is compilation or recompilation. Alright, so we use the exec statement to run or call. These are synonymous terms. Run and call a stored proc. Alright, you can call a stored proc from another stored proc, or even from itself. And when calling it from itself is called recursion. And we're not going to get into that, but that's a cool word. Alright, so let's move over to a very simple, look how clean this is. Alright, a very simple stored procedure with a single variable. So here we are, create proc, right? We have the name of the procedure, name of the stored procedure. We've got to give it a name. Alright, and here we've got our variable we're going to use. We're going to look for vendor name, and here we've decided the data type. It tells us if we hover over it there, you can see the data type is varchar variable character 50, and here is just a select, so you can do a select, right? And there we go. So now all we're doing is assigning, since we're going to try to look for the name, right? We want to be able to type in the name and get back the name of the company. And we're just going to assign it. I don't know what you are, but stop bothering me. Alright, we're going to assign this variable we declared to the name. And it is in name because name is a keyword. Alright, so when we have SQL Server keywords, in order to tell it it's not a keyword, we need to put parentheses around it. Alright? And we're going to order by name. Okay? So, create proc, and here is the as. Right? Create proc name, right? Variable declaration as the core, and that's it. And let's go up here. That's important right here. Got to create it in the AdventureWorks database, or you can end up creating it in the master, and if you call it from the AdventureWorks database, it's going to tell you, look, hey, well, where do all your tables go? All right, because there isn't that table or those combination of tables in the master. All right, now we're back. All right, let's connect to our database. All right, SQL Server. Are we working on solo? I think. Where are we connected to? Can't the solo yet. So let's look at the AdventureWorks database, where they held. If you looked at this and you said, where would the stored procedures be held? Probably under programmability. And look, we have a stored procedure folder. Very cool, right? And there we go. So now let's call the stored procedure, right? We said over in our Word doc, very primitive Word doc here, we call it using the exec statement. So here we go. Execute the name of the proc, and it needs a variable What if we just run it without anything? What's it going to do? Yeah, it's going to blow up on us. Well, it's not going to blow up. It's going to tell you. It expects this vendor name, right, which was not supplied. Well, thank you. So we need to supply it. So we're going to, and we're going to pass in a name, right, of one of the vendors. And it's going to hopefully work and give us back all the occurrences of the Green Lake Bike Company. All right. Very cool. Now, obviously, this is a very basic stored proc, and it can even get much more basic than this. I just wanted to outline the how we declare a variable and the syntax. All right. Very simple, very straightforward, and don't forget the important point. The most important facet of the stored procedure is pre-compilation, or that once it's run the first time, right, it's held somewhere else. It's held somewhere else in memory, and it can be called from that location, and that reduces the stress and burden on the on SQL Server. All right, and that is it for this quick video on stored procs.